to lift in heaven, ring with the harmonies of liberty and rejoicing pride. I have glistening skies, let it freeze out as a rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the God passes across. Sing a song full of the hope that your presence has brought us. Oh Lord, can you help me with the words?
Facing the
rising sun, how my new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
My name is Brother Salih Muhammad. You can call me Salih. I begin in the name of the one God, beneficent, the merciful. I thank Him for all of those great freedom fighters that He has sent to help our people to get out of our condition. I thank Him for Nat Turner. Y'all heard of him? I thank Him for Sojourner Truth. I thank Him for Harriet Tubman. I thank Him for Ella Baker. And most importantly, I thank Him for all of you all, because you all are the ones that are going to be responsible for taking our people to the next stage in our struggle for freedom, justice, and equality. Today's theme is Destination Education. And on the back of your program, you have a quote from Malcolm X that says, "Education is the passport for the future, or to the future. For those who prepare for it today shall be those who are successful." But Malcolm X, you heard Malcolm X? Yeah. But Malcolm X never went to college. Did y'all know that? Yep. Malcolm X never graduated high school. Malcolm X didn't even graduate middle school, but that man could change the world because he had a proper framework for education. So the first thing that we have to ask ourselves today is, what is education? Is education your degree? Is education the ability to graduate high school and college? Or is there something more brilliant and more important to education than what we're looking at? Education comes from a Latin word, educere, which means to bring out. To bring out what? To bring out who? The purpose of education is to bring out of you the natural talents, skills, and gifts that are already in you. What's the purpose of education, somebody? Anybody, why'd you say? To bring out of you, right? The purpose of education is to bring out of you that which is naturally within. Everybody's not an engineer, right? So everybody's not a preacher, right? Everybody's not a doctor or scientist. Some of us might be an artist. Some of us might be a musician. Some of us might be a hair care person. Everybody has something special about yourself. And so education is supposed to bring out of you that which is already within you. And so then you got to ask the question, who are you? Most of us walked in the room and we said, my name is Cedric. Right? My name is Cameron. My name is Reggie. My name is James, right? But who are you really? Who were you before your parents applied that name to you? See? Who were you before somebody else applied an identity to you? Who are you really? See? At the essence of every single one of you, at the deepest part of yourself is infinite power. At the deepest part of yourself is God. Did y'all hear me? I said, who are you really? When you wake up in the morning and look in the mirror, do you see a nigga? Do you see a B word, a hoe? Or do you see a God? See? Y'all never heard that before. Y'all with me? So imagine if everybody in our community looked in the mirror and said, I am looking at a reflection of God. How often will we shoot each other? How often would I shoot up drugs into my body? How often would I abuse myself with alcohol? How often would I mistreat my woman if I know that I am a God? Am I making sense? really, you're not just Salih, you're not just Jaslyn. You, in your deepest essence of yourself, you are a reflection of God. Am I making sense? Yes. Did y'all know that everywhere you go in the world, if you study their history and their original conception of God, everywhere you go, you find that their idea of God was a black God. Y'all didn't hear me. See, I've traveled some of the world. See, I went to Spain, and I was real surprised that when you go into a church in Spain, you see a black Jesus. But you go into church in South Central Los Angeles, and you see a white Jesus. Think about that. You can go over to Asia, and you see a statue of a black Buddha with some kinky hair. I'm not lying. But you go right into our community, and we treat ourselves as if we are the opposite of God. See? What is the opposite of God? A nigga. See? What does it mean to be an N-word? See? The N-word comes from the word Negro. Anybody take Spanish? Yeah. What's Negro in Spanish? Alright. So, y'all remember that? You're in class. In Spanish, Negro means black. But you only say Negro when I'm applying it to something that is not alive. I can say the negro table, right? Negro, mesa? Mesa de negro. Right? But if I'm talking about a human being, I don't say negro because negro is only useful when I'm talking about something that is not alive. Well, are you alive? Yes. Then how do we call ourselves Negro? How can we call ourselves niggas when we are alive and well and human beings? When did they start calling us that and why? You see, the N-word or Negro came when the slave master began to change us from being real, live human beings, Africans with an identity, a name, a language, a culture, and a God, and we were robbed of those things. See? We were robbed of our names, and that's why we can come in and say, my name is James. Ain't none of us from England. See? That's why we can come in and speak English, and not one person in here is from England. We were robbed of our names, robbed of our language, robbed of our culture, robbed of our God. And if you look at the condition of our community, we have been robbed of our minds. See? You ever heard your mama say, you done lost your mind, child? Yeah. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So something happened to us. Something happened to black people that caused us to lose our own sense of who we are. Something happened to us that somewhere along the road we forgot that when I looked in the mirror, I was looking at an image of God. And I thought that I was looking at a heart. See? Something happened to us that at a point in time in our history, and I quote, in ancient Egypt we used to say that man and woman is an underdeveloped God. And God was a developed human being. Y'all not hearing me? Y'all hear me? Yeah. So the next time you're thinking about doing something that's not God-like, look in the mirror and ask, am I a God or am I a nigga? So the first thing we have to talk about, if we're on a journey to become educated or to bring out of us that which is within, we have to ask ourselves, what is inside of me? What's inside of you is infinite potential. What's inside of you is everything you need in life to be successful. Study your universe. This is why you're in school. Study the stars, study the trees, the ocean, because everything you see in the external world is a manifestation of that which is already in you. The rivers and the oceans of the earth are like the blood of your body. See, your body is 70% water, and so is the earth. Did y'all know that? Yes. Go and look at a leaf and put it next to your skin and see how it patterns up. See, the trees of the earth are like the bones of man and woman. Because you, brothers and sisters, are the origin from which all things come. So the universe is patterned after the magnificent creation of the black mind. Y'all didn't hear me. So the real purpose of education is not to get a degree. It's not to get a job. That's weak. That's so little. If I'm telling you, you look in the mirror and you are a God, God does more than get a job. Your purpose in life is bigger than a job. It's bigger than a degree. Am I making sense? Yeah. In everything in the universe, there is a lesson for you if you would pay attention. And everything you see in the world, everything is a manifestation of an idea somebody had. There was a time when human beings didn't have a microphone, right? But somebody had an idea to make sound loud. And what did they do? They went to work on that idea and they made a microphone. Am I making sense? Everything that you see began and originated as an idea that somebody had to put in work to make that idea a reality. You ever seen a tree? Hey, not the kind you smoke, right? The trees that come out the ground, right? Yeah. Do you know how long it takes for a tree to grow? Years. See? But before you ever see the tree, that tree was already growing underneath the earth. Right? Before you ever see that a seed was germinated and began to become life, that seed was already growing. But that seed began in darkness, in difficulty, in struggle. Because it is through struggle and difficulty, through pain and torment, that greatness always evolves. That's why black people are so special. Ain't nobody out there creating hip-hop. Ain't nobody out there creating jazz. Right? Ain't nobody out there leading the world in culture. See? Every time. Ain't nobody saying, I want to be like Larry Bird. You don't know who that is. I want to be like Mike, right? Yeah. We know Mike Jordan is. Yeah. See? Come on now. You ain't there. How about this? Folks want to be like LeBron. No. But think about that, y'all. Y'all know the time when black people weren't allowed to play sports? Yeah. See? But as soon as we entered the field, what did we do? We rose to the top. See? As soon as we entered the music industry, what did we do? We rose to the top. As soon as we entered politics, what did we do? We rose to the top. See? Because everywhere you go, that's right, you should give your ancestors a round of applause. Because somebody engaged in a struggle so that black people could become the greatness and the excellence that we are today. Struggle. Did you know, brothers and sisters, that no life can exist without struggle? No life can exist without pain. Does anybody remember when you were born? No. You see the video, right? Now think about this though. When a baby is born, all you hear is crying. Imagine if that baby could speak. What would it say? No, listen. The baby is in its mother's womb for 9 months. And for 9 months, it is full, it has nourishment, it has food, it's in darkness, it has not been exposed to light, it has everything that it needs to exist. It doesn't even have to breathe on its own. Its mother provides all of the necessities of life, and then one day it has to come out into a new world. That baby is enduring pain. But it's through the portal of pain and struggle that human beings are birthed into existence. Am I making sense? Yeah. Did you know that in every child that is born, there are 250 million sperm cells emitted? Think about that. Out of 250 million chances to be born, you were the one to make it. Out of the 250 million, they say 85% were too lazy. They quit along the road. See, it's something in you that you already have the power to succeed because you're alive. Your being here today meant that at one point in time, you beat out 249,999,999 other cells so that you could be alive. So something is in you that has destined you for survival. Think about all the slaves that died on that vicious passage to America. They say nearly 5 million slaves died just between the coast of Africa to the slave ship. The slave trade was so bad that some slaves would try to commit suicide with their fingernails. The slave trade was so bad that sharks would follow after the boats because they would find food. The slave trade was so bad that even a dead man would find himself crying. And yet somehow, you are the descendant of those that survived. Somebody say survivor. Survival. Somebody say survivor. Survival. See, you're here with a purpose. You would not have survived if you did not have one. Did you know nothing in the entire universe exists without purpose? And peep this. Nothing in the universe exists without a purpose beyond itself. Why does a worm exist? Because the birds can eat, right? The worms nourish the soil, right? A lizard eats worms, right? So worms exist in part so that the rest of the universe can exist. Well, why do you exist? No? No? Hear me out. We all are alive because we all have a divine purpose to contribute toward pushing our people forward. Somebody say forward. Forward. Destination, education. We all exist because we are on a journey back to ourselves. We are on a journey back to being like God. We are on a journey back to being the great human beings that we once were. And so your job as a black person in America today is to push us along in that journey. Does that make sense? All right, we're almost done. Now, even though we all have to struggle to exist, all of us are born with a very spectacular thing called will. Anybody heard of will? Yeah. Got willpower, right? Every one of us is born with an infinite amount of power to do anything. An infinite amount of power to do anything. What does that mean? If you close your eyes and see something that you want to bring into the world, it is in your ability to bring it. In fact, if you can see it, it was meant for you to make it happen. If you can see a better condition for your mama, it is your mission to put her in a better condition. Because if you can see it, you have been blessed with an insight to bring it into the world. But the thing that keeps us back is so many of us have not cultivated our willpower. See, your will is like a muscle. And like every muscle in your body, you gotta work it out. Is that right? Bruh, you're not gonna get swole unless you hit that gym, right? Is that right? Sister's not gonna share no weight if you don't get that good on a treadmill, right? Is that right? If you don't work it out, it will not be strong. So it is with your will. If you don't try yourself to do better, you won't have the power to be better. Does that make sense? You ever heard that saying, knowledge is power? How do people say that? And what do they mean when they say it? Anybody take physics? Cool. All right, what about chemistry? Cool, okay. Now in physics, does anybody know the definition for power? Pop West. Go ahead. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Go ahead. Did everybody hear? No. So in physics, power is work divided by time. How much work can I get done in a particular amount of time? You follow me? Yeah. All right. So for example, I can walk from here to Los Angeles, but it might take me like 4 hours. Longer? Longer? Because the power of my own individual being is limited, right? But if I get in the car, how long is it going to take? 2 hours? Right? The car has more power than walking, right? All right. But if I got in the plane, well, it might take 30 minutes, right? Because the plane has more power than, and the car has more power than walking. All right. Now, but there's something that travels faster than the plane. There's something that travels faster than a car and faster than you walking, right? Who said that? Go ahead. But the next thing that travels is sound. Sound travels at 1,120 feet per second, right? But then I also have light. And light travels at 186,000 miles per second, right? So light travels faster than sound, and sound travels faster than the plane, and the plane travels faster than the car, and the car travels faster than walking. Alright, now, but there's something, even though light travels as fast as 186,000 miles per second, meaning that the sun being 93 million miles away can hit the earth in 8 minutes and 23 seconds. Right? That's fast, ain't it? And every morning you wake up and the sun is there. It don't get tired, right? It don't take no day off, right? It don't say I ain't dealing with you Negroes today. Every day the sun is striking you from 93 million miles away. And from that far away, the power of the light of the sun causes the earth to rotate at 1,037 1/3 miles per hour, right? That's the power of light. Does that make sense? But there's something even more powerful than light. Who said that? I like y'all. Thought is more powerful than light. Thought travels at 24 billion miles per second. That means my thoughts are more powerful than anything we can find in existence. That's why one day a man can say, I want to see human beings fly, and the next day human beings have an airplane. See? Your thoughts have no limits to them. Your thoughts have the potential to bring into reality anything it desires. So if you look at your lives, think about your life. You got a bunch of people you don't like around? Yes. What are you thinking about? See, you attract that which you think about. I'm going to say that again. You attract that which you think about. See? The responsibility is on you. And the thought is that powerful. Think about it. If thought is the most powerful thing in the universe, then how important is education? Malcolm X said it. Education is the passport to the future. If thought is the most powerful thing we can find in all of the universe, 76 quintillion miles and expanding constantly, and thought is more powerful than everything, then how important is it for you all to be careful about what you learn? For example, has anybody ever told you And I'll put it this way. My teacher once told me, Salih Muhammad, he said, any person that will not treat you right will not teach you right. Anybody that will not treat you right will not teach you right. Think about some of the shady teachers you have. All kinds of shade, right? We got a whole forest out here. Think about them. See, if somebody does not love you, they're not going to work to make sure you're learning what you need to learn. Think about that. And so we're in schools where the majority of teachers are not us. I'm going to say that again. We're in schools where less than 6% of teachers across the country are black. And then we expect that black babies are going to come out and be successful. Think about the madness of that. Drake, you heard Drake? No, they ain't never loved us? That's about right. That's about right. And if they do not love you, they cannot teach you to be a better you. Am I making sense? For example, how many of your teachers told you that 3 of the popes, you know what the pope is? Yeah. Y'all know 3 of the popes was black? That's true. Right? 3 of the popes were black. How many of y'all teachers told you that the first person to make a journey to America was a black man? How many of y'all teachers told you that the first university you find in the world was in Africa? How many of y'all teachers told you that Africa is 11 million square miles? You could fit the United States, China, Brazil, and most of the rest of the world inside of that one continent named Africa. See? How many of y'all teachers told you that there was a black man named Jesus? Remember, I said a black man. When E40 said Jesus Christ had dreads. How many of your teachers told you? How many of your teachers told you that when you look in the Bible, think about this one. Jesus is black. Moses is black. Abraham is black. Solomon is black. Enoch is black. How many of your teachers told you that every prophet you read about was black? Are y'all hearing me? Y'all sure? How many of y'all teachers told you that in the Bible it said God is black? Y'all didn't hear me. Y'all didn't hear me. Alright, we're moving on. Last one. This one for my sisters. How many of teachers told you that the first mathematicians we can find on record were black women? I'm going to say that again. The first mathematicians we have on historical record were black women. I'm going to say it one more time. The first mathematicians we have on human record were black women. Praise the Lord. And yet we walk around with our heads hanging down. We walk around thinking that I can't do mathematics. I can't do physics. I can't do chemistry. Nah, you created mathematics. Your ancestors created chemistry. Your ancestors created physics. Your ancestors created engineering, architecture. Your ancestors created classical art. Your ancestors created history. Your ancestors created every single field of study that has ever existed. And we walk around talking about I can't. You know, there's a school I work at, and one of our partner schools, at the beginning of the year, they have a ceremony. And everybody wears all black, and they have a funeral. And everybody writes the word I can't on a sheet of paper, and they go bury it outside. Because I can't should not be in your vocabulary. There is nothing that you cannot do. Because there's nothing outside of the capacity of your brain. Am I making sense? Yeah. So that whatever your GPA is, you can get it up. Y'all hear me? It got too real. It got too real. But hear me. See, it's one thing to hear things and say that sounds good. It's another thing to hear things and to try them out. See, remember I said, your will, you got to work it out. See, you don't never really know how strong you are until you put on some weights, right? you don't never really know what you can or cannot do unless you try. See? So all them GPAs that y'all worried about, pull them up. Pull them up, because you can do it. You are born with that capacity. My last point. Once we get our high school diplomas, what do we do? Okay, once we go to college, what do we do?
Go to college and get a job.
Y'all, no pause. Everybody heard that? We said we go to high school, we get our degree. We get our degree, we go to college. We go to college, we get a job. And then we get a job and we work till we're 60 and we die. Right?
No.
We retire, and then we die. No, come on. So beat this. Hear me out, though. Beat this. That's such a plain life. You mean I have the most powerful thing in build them? Who has to build them? I can't hear everybody. Who has to build them? All right. We need schools that really can make our people successful. They won't be built unless you all build them. 6% of teachers are black. 1% of teachers are black men. Did you hear me? 1%. We need schools that are for us. So my charge to you all is, as we're on our road, our journey toward education, find a way to make a meaningful contribution to getting your people free. My second charge to you all, don't quit. You are a survivor, right? Don't quit. High school can be hard, I know. Getting into college can be hard. Graduating college will be hard. Don't quit. My third ask for you all, do something different. Y'all heard of Trayvon Martin?
Yeah.
Of course, right? Mike Brown?
Yes.
And the long list of other black men and women who've been killed by police?
Yes.
Okay. Join an organization or create one. We will not change the murder of our people unless we create institutions to fight back. Say that again. We will not change the murder of our people unless we create institutions to fight back. Think about this. Did y'all know when a police officer abuses his or her authority, what do? You do what? Say it loud. What you say? No. If a police officer beats you, right, without cause, who do you tell?
The police.
The police. Right? You file a police report on the police. Am I making sense? Is there any kind of logic in that? You mean they kill black men, and what we do as a community is go to the other white man over there and say, hey, I need you to get mad at him. Think about it. Think about it. If we're going to change the wholesale murder of our people, it's going to take some young, fearless people to say enough is enough. All right. That's all I have for y'all. I hope something was working. That's not all. Any questions? Anybody got any questions?
What school you teach at?
What school do I teach at? I teach at a school called Muhammad University. It's a black-owned school. It's black-owned and black-operated. It's in Oakland, California. We have branches in 12 different sites across the country. Next question? Any other questions? No? Yes. Why not? Well, let me say this. Go ahead.
When I do it, they think it's talking back.
So this is what I'm saying. Any of y'all go to church ever?
Yeah.
Every Sunday, really? Yeah. Y'all snaps. All right. So there's a scripture in the Bible where Jesus is talking. He says, be ye humble as a dove and wise. Anybody know the rest?
No.
It says, be ye humble as a dove, yet wise as a serpent. Right? He's saying when you approach people that give you problems, be humble with it, right? You can be nice. You don't got to go hella hard. We don't want to see you all-star hip-hop, right? But at the same time, be wise with it, right? Hear me out. So if we know that your teacher has your grade, here's what you do. They say some racist stuff, get 10 of your classmates. Then you start talking, right? Get 20 classmates. Then you start talking. Call the BSU up here. They'll come help you.